There's a silent pain that many parents dare not speak aloud. It's when the child you raised for 20 years suddenly turns away as if you're a stranger. I'm Dr. Hoshino Daisuke. Over my 27 years practicing geriatric medicine at Tokyo General Hospital, I've treated thousands of patients with conditions like arthritis, cardiovascular disease, and Alzheimer's. But there's one condition that no machine can detect: the loss of respect from your own children. I once treated a 72-year-old woman who lived with her son and daughter-in-law. Physically, she was healthy, just some fatigue, poor sleep, and low appetite. But after a few sessions, I recognized signs of mild depression. Not due to aging, but because she was treated like she didn't exist in her own home. My mom lives with me, but I don't know why she seems to be shrinking more each day. That's what a 44-year-old woman said during a family therapy session. When I asked, "Do you still feel proud of or grateful to your mother?" she fell silent. She didn't hate her mother, but she no longer respected her. In her eyes, her mother was no longer useful. She didn't make money, didn't understand technology, complained a lot, worried too much. The woman who was once her greatest hero had now become just an old person in the house. The painful truth: 60% of elderly feel disrespected in their own homes. According to the 2022 Japan Social Research Institute report, 62% of elderly living with their children say they feel they serve no role in the family. Over 40% feel disrespected or treated like children. When respect begins to fade, it's not the polite words that disappear first. It's the gaze. There's no more listening. No more asking for advice. No more acknowledging presence. But why do children change like this? Children don't stop respecting their parents out of nowhere. In my experience, there are three main reasons. 1. Parents refuse to adapt to the times. Children feel parents are rigid, stuck in the past, unwilling to listen. Old-fashioned thinking becomes a wall between generations. 2. Parents lose control over their own emotions. Many elders become irritable, suspicious, or critical. That emotional tension pushes their children away. 3. Parents no longer inspire. They were once role models. But now they're caught in negativity, complaining, fearing, living without purpose. When someone loses faith in themselves, others stop believing in them too. Respect is not something you can demand. It must be inspired. You can't force your children to respect you, but you can become someone they look up to again. Because respect doesn't come from age. It comes from your inner strength, your wisdom, and the way you live today. Let's look at elders who are still deeply respected. Shibata Toshiko, age 85, still teaches weekly, known as the legendary grandma teacher. Hayao Miyazaki, age 83, every new animated film he releases stuns the world. Or Mr. Nishikawa, one of my patients, age 78, handwrites letters to his grandchildren in ancient kanji every week to pass down life lessons. During holidays, his whole family gathers to hear his stories, seek his advice, and learn from his life. They are not celebrities. They are guardians of values, resilience, and dignity. And that's what naturally earns them respect. Maybe you've made mistakes, but there's still time to change. Ask yourself, when was the last time I made my child proud? Have I ever shared a meaningful life lesson with them? Am I living a life that I, myself, would admire? If not, then your journey to regain your child's respect starts today. This video will guide you step by step to restore your child's respect, not with guilt, not with complaints, but with real action. Together, we'll trace the roots of disconnection, transform how you communicate and inspire, and help you reclaim your role as a parent, grandparent, and elder who deserves reverence, not to control them, but to reconnect through love, understanding, and dignity. And I, Dr. Hoshino Daisuke, will walk beside you every step of the way. Action 1. If you don't respect yourself, your children will learn to overlook you. There's nothing more painful than living under the same roof as your children and still feeling invisible. As a geriatric physician with over 25 years of experience, I've heard countless worries, seen thousands of tired eyes. But one pair of eyes I'll never forget belonged to a 76-year-old man, a retired high-ranking official. He once walked into rooms and commanded respect just by his presence. But that day, he looked at me, gripped my hand, and whispered, "Doctor, is there any way I can earn my son's respect again?" I didn't answer right away. I simply looked into his eyes and asked him gently, "Sir, when was the last time you felt proud of who you are?" He was silent for a long moment, then softly replied, "When my son used to say, 'Dad, can you help me with this?' The hard truth, 60% of elders feel the nitrogen monoxide longer matter. According to a 2023 study by Japan's National Institute of Geriatrics, 60% of seniors over 65 said their children no longer seek their advice. 48% feel like a guest in their own homes. And most heartbreaking, 36% say their presence no longer makes a difference. But even worse, 90% of them don't speak up because they don't want to make their children uncomfortable. From past glory to present silence to a future of invisibility. Think back to yourself 10 or 20 years ago. You were the family decision maker, the one whose opinion shaped everything, the pride of your children. Now, you sit quietly while others make decisions. Are dismissed with, "Things are different now, Dad." Feel like you've been left behind, and in the future, if nothing changes, your relationship with your children will continue to erode until it's reduced to obligation, not affection. Why do children stop respecting their parents? It's easy to think they're just ungrateful. But as someone who's spoken to both parents and adult children, I can tell you, many children still love their parents deeply, but no longer feel emotionally connected to them. Here's why. Point 1. Parents don't keep up with the times. Gives communication feels pointless. 2. Negative conversations dominate. Gives always criticizing, comparing, complaining. 3. Loss of inspirational role. Gives the parent becomes an emotional burden, not a guide. And worst of all, parents often don't realize it or refuse to change. Are you becoming an old version of yourself? It's a hard question, but answer honestly. Do you often repeat the same old stories? Do you avoid learning new things, saying, "I'm too old for that now"? Have you slowly stopped showing up as your best self? If yes, you're not wrong. You've simply let time dim a light that once burned brightly inside you. The solution, nitrogen monoxide medicine, required just intention. I once helped a 73-year-old woman rediscover herself through 3 simple steps. 1. Morning reset. Wake up at 6 a.m. Dress properly even if staying home. Drink tea, then write 1 line in a notebook. Today, I will bring value to someone. 2. Change your language. I'm too old to know anything. Now, I don't know much yet, can you show me? Before, these days are all chaos. Now, things were different back then, tell me about today. 3. Send a new signal to your children. Don't say, "Respect me." Instead, live in a way that draws them closer genuinely, willingly. You still have value that hasn't been seen. Let me ask you, what's one thing your child said that hurt you the most? Have you ever felt invisible in your own home? Leave a comment below this video. And please don't watch alone. Share it with another parent, another grandparent who needs this message today. You might be the reason they find hope again. In the next action, I'll help you explore why your child may love you but still feel distant. How to rekindle emotional warmth not with tears, but with subtle wisdom. And 3 proven methods I've taught my patients that reverse emotional distance and bring children closer again. Are you ready to become someone your child admires again? If yes, subscribe and move on to action 2, because if you skip it now, you might miss the one chance to heal what's been silent for too long. I'm Dr. Hoshino Daisuke. I don't just treat physical illness. I help heal the quiet heartbreak that lives inside families before it's too late. Love may still be there, but the way we communicate has become too outdated for their hearts to recognize it. I once cared for a patient, Ms. Katsuko, 68 years old. She came not for physical pain, but for aches that no machine could measure. I call my daughter dozens of times. She doesn't pick up, doesn't reply. Always says, "I'm busy," but she smiles and chats with others just fine. She held back tears. I guess I'm no longer important in her life. The numbers behind the distance. According to a 2023 survey by Japan's Family and Society Institute, 57% of elderly parents feel that their children no longer care about their emotions. Of those, 1 in 3 reported not having a single meaningful conversation with their child in over 6 months. Does that sound familiar to you? The cause isn't love, it's a frequency mismatch. You still love your child, but the frequency you're broadcasting on no longer matches theirs. You speak with words from your time. Back in my day, we did things differently. You speak emotionally, they respond logically. You repeat worries, they want solutions. And soon, both sides get tired. Both still love each other but no longer want to talk. Solution: don't speak more meaningfully. 1. Start with questions, not advice. Instead of, "That's not the right way to do it," try, "You seem tired. Is there anything I can help with?" 2. Keep it short, deep, and well-timed. Don't talk when they're stressed. Say less, say it right, and make it emotionally clear. 3. Remember, inspiration doesn't need to be loud. Honest doctor's note: you can't touch a young person's heart with lectures. But anyone's heart softens when they see their parents still trying to understand them. If you've ever been ignored by your child, comment "Emmy." If you've ever wanted to give up but didn't comment, "I'm still trying, so I know you're still here." You don't need to be your child's best friend. You need to be someone they respect for wisdom and trust when they're vulnerable. In Action 3, I'll show you how to turn resistance into reflection. 3 common reactions from children and how to respond with calm. Key phrases to emotionally disarm conflict in the first 5 minutes of conversation. I'm Dr. Hoshino Daisuke, and I'll be waiting for you in Action 3, where we don't just speak, we begin to be heard. Action 3. When your child resists you, don't push back, redirect. Mr. Mori, 70 years old, came to see me after arguing with his son. He told me I just mentioned he was spending recklessly. He snapped, "What do you know, Dad? This isn't your era anymore." I asked, "Have you ever told him that you feel left behind?" He didn't answer, just silence. Truth: harsh reactions often signal emotional disconnection. According to a 2022 survey by Japan's Family Communication Institute, 45% of elderly parents said their child has shouted at or insulted them. Of those, 80% said the fight started over something trivial: money, food, parenting methods. The real cause wasn't the topic. It was unreleased emotional tension that had built up for years. Why do children react like they're rebelling? 1. Because they don't know how to express negative emotions safely. 2. Because they've been hurt before without the parent realizing it. 3. Because every time the parent speaks, they feel judged, not heard. Solution: don't react, redirect. 1. When they lash out, don't strike back. Take a deep breath, pause 3 seconds. Then ask gently, "Are you angry because of me, or are you just tired right now?" 2. Shift from talking to inviting. I'm not here to lecture, I'd just like to understand. Tell me about your day. Point 3. Set boundaries without arguing. I still have my principles, but I'm listening. And I'd like you to listen too. You don't have to win every argument to win with calm presence. What's the most painful thing your child has ever said to you? Write it in the comments. Let others know they're not alone. And if you've ever held back tears after a cold remark, comment enough to tell yourself it's time to do things differently. In Action 4, I'll show you how the right silence builds more connection than words, why giving space isn't the same as giving up, and how to build a warm, non-judgmental atmosphere that naturally invites your child back. I'm Dr. Hoshino Daisuke. You've walked this far, and now, let's learn how to listen, even without speaking, in Action 4. Action 4. When your child goes silent, don't press for answers, just stay near. Sometimes, what your child needs most isn't advice but a presence that doesn't judge. Ms. Tazuko, 75, hadn't spoken to her youngest daughter in nearly 6 months. I asked, "When was the last time you two sat together?" She replied, "Probably the day she said, 'You always make me feel guilty.' Since then, she went quiet, and I didn't dare say a word either." Truth, silence in families often stems from emotional exhaustion. A 2022 survey by the Japan Center for Emotional Wellness found 51% of adult children don't feel emotionally safe sharing with their parents. Of those, 39% said, "If I stay quiet, there won't be any problems." So silence becomes a defense mechanism. But in truth, it's also a quiet cry for connection. What's the problem? 1. Parents want to talk but children fear being judged. 2. Parents stay silent but children feel abandoned. 3. Both sides wait for the other to take the first step. Result: no one moves, no one truly listens. Solution: create a safe silence space. 1. Sit nearby, not talking, not pressing, just present. A pot of tea, a chair beside them, a warm gaze, that's enough. 2. Instead of asking, "Why are you upset?" say, "I'm here when you're ready. I'll listen." 3. Write a handwritten letter with zero blame. Share memories, gratitude, and a promise to listen without judgment. A doctor who was once a son also went silent. "I didn't talk to my father for 2 years, not because I hated him, but because every conversation made me feel like I wasn't good enough. Then one day, he sent me a letter, just one line. 'I'm sorry for always thinking you had to be like me to be right.' I cried, and I called him back." Have you ever gone through a long silence with your child? Share it. What moment made you realize something needed to change? Write a sentence, one thought. It might be the very thing that gives hope to another parent still waiting in the quiet. Your child hasn't said it, but their eyes remember. Remember when you were their hero. In Action 5, I'll show you how to use the past not as guilt, but as gentle gratitude. Action 5, memories aren't meant to hurt, they're meant to heal. Ms. Hoshino, 72, came for a routine checkup. I asked, "How are things with your kids lately?" She chuckled quietly. "They're adults now, doctor. Busy. We haven't had a real conversation in a long time," I suggested. "Tell them about the first time you took them to the park, the first time they called you mom. See what happens." 2 weeks later, she returned, eyes glistening. "Doctor," she hugged me. She said, "Of course I remember. I just didn't know if you still did." Data speaks. Positive memories spark powerful emotional reconnection. According to Japan's Institute of Psychotherapy 2023, 68% of adult children said they were deeply moved when their parents shared childhood stories. 53% of elderly parents never bring up the past because they think my kids don't care anymore. But the truth is, a well-timed memory can unlock doors that have been shut for years. Common barriers. 1. Parents assume their children don't want to hear old stories. 2. Fear that recalling the past will make children feel obligated. 3. Can't recall the good memories, only the regrets. Solution: use beautiful memory medicine to warm up distance. 1. Write down 3 memories when your child laughed the hardest. It doesn't need to be long, just sincere. When you were 7, I taught you to fold a paper plane. You lit up when it actually flew. 2. Share like a friend, not with guilt. Avoid, I sacrificed so much for you. Say instead, back then, just seeing you finish your meal made me so happy. Point 3. Reignite old pride. When you passed that big exam, you told me, "Dad, I did it." I still remember that. What memory between you and your child still brings tears when you think of it? Write it down. As a gift for yourself and for someone else who needs a reason to remember. Drop an emoji if there's a memory you've never dared to share. Comment, "I still remember," if there are beautiful things inside you that deserve to be told. You've shared a memory and your child listened. But how do you go from being remembered to being the one they turn to when life gets overwhelming? Because love is beautiful. But becoming the person your child trusts when things fall apart, that's real connection. In Action 6, you'll step beyond being a parent into becoming a silent, steady companion in your child's life. And the most surprising part, you can do it without saying much at all. Action 6, it's not about having authority. It's about earning trust. Love creates connection. But it's trust that keeps the relationship alive. Mr. Haruo, 69, came into my clinic looking quietly disappointed. I asked, "How's your son doing these days?" He replied, "He's doing well, but I don't think he sees me as useful anymore." I asked again, "When was the last time he asked you for advice on his own?" He paused, then said, "I don't think he ever has." Truth, children don't avoid parents because they don't love them but because they don't trust the response. From a 2023 study by Japan's Intergenerational Relationship Institute, 61% of adult children said they rarely or never seek their parents' advice. Of those, 71% feared their parents would react emotionally, not listen calmly. So what makes a parent someone a child wants to return to? 1. Emotional stability, no judgment, no explosions. 2. Calm communication, listen first, speak second. 3. Humility, a willingness to admit I'm still learning to. Solution, become trustworthy without having to be all-knowing. 1. Learn one news story per day just to have a topic to connect. I read about AI changing education. What do you think? 2. Ask your child's opinion first to create mutual respect. I'm thinking of buying a new phone. Which one would you recommend? 3. Learn one small new skill to show you haven't stopped evolving. Even if it's just learning to use video calls or type Japanese on your phone. When was the last time your child came to you for advice? Or when was the last time you asked them for their thoughts? Comment, my child once asked me about, or I still hope they'll ask. Someone out there may read your words and decide to reconnect with their own parent. You've slowly regained your place in your child's heart. But there's something even greater than respect. It's when your words become the stories your child tells their own children. In Action 7, you'll move beyond being listened to. You'll become someone who is remembered, retold, and revered. And the most beautiful part, you don't need to be the smartest or the strongest. You just need to keep being the warmest soul in the room. Action 7, when your words become a legacy. One day, your child will either tell your stories to your grandchildren or forget you were ever part of theirs. Ms. Yukiko, 79, sat quietly in the clinic corner. I asked, "Did your children or grandchildren visit this week?" She shook her head. "They're not that busy." But no one came. I gently asked, "If you were no longer here, what would they remember you for first?" She didn't reply. Then suddenly she cried. Emotional insight. You may still live in the house, but be missing from memory. According to a 2023 study by Japan's Family Legacy Institute, 61% of elderly people leave behind no emotional habits that their children or grandchildren remember. Meanwhile, 82% of adults said, "I still remember the gentle phrases my grandmother told me even after 20 years. The problem, it's not that you didn't love, you just didn't leave a mark. 1. You quietly sacrificed but never shared the story. 2. You had wisdom but never shaped it into memorable advice. 3. You were present but never formed rituals that made others think of you. Solution: start building your emotional legacy while you still can. 1. Choose one phrase, repeat it with love every week. Live simply, live deeply. When you smile, the whole house feels warmer. 2. Create a ritual associated with you. Every Sunday afternoon, tea with the grandkids. Every New Year, share one true story from your youth. Point 3. Write it down and pass it on. Write 10 life lessons you want your grandchildren to remember whether you're here or not. What's one sentence you want your family to remember you by? Write down one simple but meaningful phrase. It may become your legacy. Comment, "I want them to remember," and share your message with the world. You've sown love again. You've left a mark. But there's still one final truth. The one that decides, will you remain part of the family? Or just someone who once lived in it? Action 8 isn't about closure. It's about renewal, a bond not built on obligation, but chosen with intention. And if you've ever wondered, how do I stay remembered without becoming a burden? Then Action 8 is your answer. Action 8, the final relationship, not duty, but a chosen presence. Being loved by your children is a blessing. But being chosen by them to stay, to talk, to connect is a legacy. Mr. Yamada, 81, lives alone, but every week, one of his children visits. I asked, "You're lucky. They must be so busy." He smiled. I never asked them to come. I just kept the house warm, the tea ready, and my heart free of judgment. They say, Dad's place is the only place I don't have to be anything but me. 84% of adults say, I want to be with my parents but not be lectured. This means the love is still there. What they lack is a space to be themselves with their parents. The final challenge: don't become the place they visit out of duty. Many parents keep the love but forget to keep the ease. Children visit but feel judged, tense, or parented again. Eventually, they go silent or stay away. Solution: become the place they choose to return to, not have to. 1. From advice gives to listening. Don't rush in, ask, do you want advice or just someone to listen today? 2. From what did you do gives to how do you feel about it. You made that choice, what part of it made you feel most confident? 3. Keep one promise. With Mom, Dad, I can just be me. This is the strongest tie and the greatest gift you can give. One day when you're no longer here, what will make your child still want to sit in the room where you once sat? Write one sentence for your child, not to teach, but to warm their heart. Comment, I don't want to be remembered, I want to be kept. You've completed 8 actions, but this journey doesn't end with being heard. It only begins when you choose to live every day as someone others want to be near. On Dr. Hoshino Daisuke. I don't heal with needles. I heal with words that reach the heart. And if you've come this far, please know, you were never just old. You were always on your way to becoming unforgettable. First of all, let me bow my head and sincerely thank you for listening, for staying, and for bravely walking with me through all 8 actions. Not everyone has the patience to look inward. Not everyone has the humility to relearn how to love. And not everyone has the strength to say, I want to try again. I want to reconnect. If you're still reading these words, it means you've already taken the first step to do something millions haven't dared to. To heal your family relationship beginning from your own heart. You may not have noticed, but every single action you've walked through was a stairway elevating you toward a new kind of connection between parent and child. Action 1. You began by learning to respect yourself first. Action 2. You changed how you speak so your child wants to listen. Action 3. You transformed resistance into understanding. Action 4. You learned how to sit in silence and still be present. Action 5. You used beautiful memories as emotional bridges. Action 6. You redefined yourself as a trusted companion. Action 7. You created an emotional legacy through words and warmth. And Action 8. You are no longer someone who must be there. You've become someone they choose to stay close to. Now, I'd love to hear from you. Out of the 8 actions, which one moved you the most? Is there one action you'd like to start with today? Leave a comment. I want to begin again with action number, or I'm still here and I still choose to love. If you've ever felt lost or forgotten, just drop an emoji below. And if you found meaning in this journey, please share it with a friend, a father, or a mother so they won't have to walk through this silence alone. And one small promise, you don't have to become the perfect parent. You only need to become the one your child never wants to lose. Goodbye, but not far away. I am Dr. Hoshino Daisuke. And I bow deeply to the parents who chose understanding over blame, who chose returning over giving up. You are not alone, and from now on, neither is your child.